Hi, this is Andrew Pillow again, 8th grade social studies at KIPP Indy, and welcome back to our series about AI in the classroom. Today we are going to talk about content creation. Now, if you were with me for the last video, you know that this entire series is about using artificial intelligence, AI, to create things for our classroom and basically make our lives easier as teachers. So the first thing you're going to do is go to ChatGPT, right? Now, when we're talking about creating something for a deliverable, we're thinking about normally a specific topic. So for example, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm an 8th grade social studies teacher. Okay. And right now we are actually on colonization, European colonization. Okay. So for example, I have a lesson coming up about Jamestown colony. Now I could go through textbooks and scour Teachers Pay Teachers and different websites and things like that for a reading, or I can just do this. So I want a short reading on the founding of Jamestown. So I'll type this in. Create a reading about the founding of Jamestown colony for middle school. And you see that it gives us a reading about Jamestown. And one thing about ChatGPT is that it's not perfect. Okay, you always want to read whatever it gives to you. You may find some stuff in there that's inaccurate, but for the most part, all this stuff is going to be as accurate as you would create on your own. Okay, so create an article about Jamestown. Now, normally what I would do is I would either print this out, and if you're going to print it out, then what you'd want to do is copy and paste this into a Microsoft Word document, or you would put it on a PDF, save it, and push it out to their Chromebooks if that's what you do. I actually use a platform called Nearpod, and it allows them to look at PDFs through that. Okay, so that's one example of what I would do. I'll give you another one. Create a reading about the lost colony of Roanoke for middle schoolers. And again, it creates another article about colonies. Now, one thing that I will point out about the readings it creates is that it does like to use a lot of subheadings. The good thing about ChatGPT is that you can pretty much customize it to get whatever kind of reading you want as long as you put the right prompts in there. Now, in terms of creating content, the readings are good, okay? But generally, I'm going to want there to be some questions attached to it. Now, let's just take this last article that it gave us, America's Lost Colony of Roanoke. Since that's the very last thing in there, I don't have to re-specify which one that I'm talking about. I can just say create for comprehension questions about the previous article. Okay, and it'll give me questions about that article. Now, this is great for social studies, obviously, but I know that math teachers are looking at this like, wait, can we use this for math as well? Yes, you can. So I actually did teach math. And I wish this was around when I taught math. I taught algebra. So here's a good example of a math prompt. I'll open up a new chat. Create 10 algebra questions. There you go, right? Real simple algebra questions that you can pass out. And I'll give you another example. Word problems are always big on the test, and it takes so much energy on our part to create word problems. But ChatGPT can do this too. Create an algebraic word problem. And look, even before I scroll down, it's already created one. Okay. Now, here's something really, really cool. And this just goes to show you how far AI has come. You can actually create a word problem based on a topic that you like. So, for example, my kids are really into video games, and I always try on their do now to make it relevant to them. So I'm going to say create an algebra word problem based on Call of Duty. There you go. And now we've got a Call of Duty word problem for algebra. Create an algebra word problem based on the NBA. There you go. Basketball word problem. Okay. So oftentimes, getting the deliverable you want is simply a matter of asking the right questions. Okay. So in conclusion, here's what we did today. We got readings simply by telling it to create readings. We got questions by asking it to create comprehension questions for those readings. We got math problems simply by asking it to create math problems. We even got math word problems simply by asking it to create math word problems. And we got specific word problems by just adding slightly more detail to the prompt. Now, the cool thing about ChatGPT is that I don't know everything it can do, and it probably doesn't know everything it can do. It's just things you got to play around with. A lot of these things I figured out by experimentation. Hey, I just figured out the math word problem, specific word problem part right before I got on this video. I said, I wonder if it can do this. And what do you know? It could, because it is generalized intelligence, meaning that it doesn't just do one specific thing. So I encourage you to get on there, play around, and see what kind of deliverables you can create. Thank you. Join us for the next one.